And welcome everyone to The Alan Show. This is Epiphany. And for those of you who don't know, I am quite a bit older than you. Oh, yeah. Well, I was going to do that in a minute. Yeah. I was going to just, yeah. So we are all together. And I am excited. As you can see, today is the Epiphany Hotline, and we are going to be fielding calls from people who might have a question. I don't know. They might have something they want to talk about. And I will channel something for each and every one when they call. And that's my Tantine. That is my Dharma. That is my mission in life, is to be of love and service to the best of my ability. That's why I traveled all these light years to be here. Alan is doing fine. I'm just another aspect of him. And we love Alan, right? We love him. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. And for that reason, I'm willing to come all this way each week to be here. And many of you may not understand that each person has different aspects of themselves. I just happen to live many light years away, but I'm still a huge part of Alan and the Alan Show. So when you call up, I'm super excited to... and what are all these glasses Alan has here? Let me see here. Oh. I like these glasses a lot with his outfit and his hair. Ooh, Lord have mercy. I'm gonna have to talk to him about these. Hold on, let me see. Oh, I'm not crazy about these. Oh my God, I love it. Okay, so Alan has such great taste, and it's so interesting where he got these glasses from. They do work, don't they? I love it. Okay, so before we know it, we're gonna be, oh my God, it's Chloe LaFond, and she's here. And I was just saying, Alan has these amazing glasses. What do you think? I don't know. But I don't think these quite go with the outfit. But Alan is so crazy. Hold on. What is he doing? Oh. I love it. Ooh. My God. No, that's not going. But I do love these with this outfit. There we go. Oh, because love is universal, and we even know about it where I'm from. So, while I'm here on Urantia, I can enjoy some of the toys that Alan has here. What's this thing? Oh, everything is so cluttered. Oh my God. And what's this? Anyway. Yes, thank you so much, Chloe. You know fashion better than anyone I know because we're both such old souls. I want to welcome Chloe LaFond to the chat. She's here, and let me tell you something. Chloe will be here in studio very soon, and we're going to have a lot to share. So get ready, buckle up your seatbelts, because next Thursday, I think that Chloe will be here with me, and we'll be enjoying each other's company. We might also both be fielding phone calls, so I don't know. We'll see, but Chloe's definitely got to be near me because I just love Chloe, and Alan loves Chloe, so that's the, I know, we're so excited about it all, and, tonight, I did have a few people tell me that they were going to call in because they had problems. See, what I'm doing now, it's very simple. People call me up all day long, you know what I'm saying, on, with problems from across the universe, and, I tell them, hold on, no, I'm not helping you now. Call on Thursday while I'm on the Alan Show, and then I can give you, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what, Chloe, we love you too. And I want to ask what you had for dinner, and I want to ask everyone. Not everyone, from what Alan tells me, likes to chat, even though I love to see what people are thinking. But Alan has let me know that not everyone loves to chat. So those of you who are lurking and those of you who are just watching the show, oh my God. Hello. Oh my God, how are you? Hello, how are you? Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I'm going to turn you up so everyone can hear you.
I'm so happy I caught you.
I know. How are things going? I know you're so busy, and you're going to be out of town this weekend, right?
Yes,
So obviously
I'm
you're
going
getting
on
ready.
an adventure.
Yes.
And you know what? I need to turn off the screen because I'm too busy watching your gorgeous face. I'm distracted by looking at you.
Oh.
And and the timing is off, so I must turn off the screen. You distract me. So yes, I'm excited. I'm going away this weekend, and I will be with you next Thursday. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
I know. It's going to be wonderful. Okay, yes, it's going to be absolutely wonderful. And by the way, thank you for the fashion tips. Everyone should know that Chloe LaFond is a secret weapon of fashion, or I should say fashion, because she makes a new outfit for herself every day, so she's a being after my own heart. She can appreciate my hair.
And I have been sewing. I made 2 outfits for myself.
Really?
So yes, out of drapery.
Well, you make things out of. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I make things out of. I love to make things out of drapery, or curtains, or bed sheets, or duvet covers. That's a lot of fabric.
So when you go to Marshall's, you don't go to Marshall's to just buy. You go to Marshall's to buy.
I go to the home section.
Yes, and you buy like sheets and things, and you take them home. But do you ever go to Mood and things like that? I mean, like, do you ever go to fabric stores like downtown or whatever?
Oh yes. Oh, absolutely. It's like crack to me. I got to tell you, me going downtown to the fabric district is like candy. I'll be there for hours because I'm very tactile. I have to touch everything. So I'm just running my fingers through all of the fabric. And when something feels really sexy and then it looks really sexy, I buy it. And then I load up my car and I come home and deal with the storage issue.
Well, darling, I've got a question for you.
Yes.
Have you seen Alan's Instagram today?
No.
Oh.
Let me take a look.
Well, yes, please do. Or actually, are you on TikTok yet? Yeah. Okay, take a look at TikTok. If you're on TikTok, look there. But if you're on Instagram, if you're only on Instagram, take a look there. Yeah. Alan jumped the shark. I mean, not jumped the shark.
Oh my God!
Isn't it beautiful? He did
But he's gorgeous, though. He made me want to get in that tub, though. He made me want to get in that tub. He made me want to pour water all over his head and soak his back. And serve him a little glass of champagne.
Okay. Yes. I just have to say I'm so proud of him and the caption too. Just all of it. It's just so great.
Oh, I'm here now. I hope you are too. Oh, don't make me take a bath tonight.
Oh my God. Well, Chloe, I have to tell you that you've such a good influence on Alan. Just looking at what you're doing, because you're doing so many amazing things in the world of advertising and also in the realm of social media. You and the Duke of Puffington. Yes. So it's like I look at what you're doing and I'm like, oh my God, I can do anything. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh! Well, thank you so much. And you know what? Speaking of the Duke of Puffington, I just sent him away on his 4-day play date with my 2 girlfriends they're sisters, and they're going to be watching over here for the next 4 days. And his luggage was just noteworthy and impressive. He has a car seat, he has a playpen, he has an octagon, he has a baby Bjorn, he has a Bertha, all of this stuff just for him to go with them. They had to load up their car with all of his things.
Hashtag.
I can't wait to see his Instagram stories this weekend, because Puffington will be bringing it.
Oh my God. Yes. So, I am. You know what? I've got a call coming in, Chloe. So I'm gonna have to let you go. But I love you. The Allen Show loves you. Yes, darling. And please take care of yourself. Okay.
Yes, I shall. And you too, my love. I'll see you next week.
Okay. Goodbye. Oh my God. Chloe is fast becoming one of my favorite intergalactic friends, and Alan's told me all about her. She is amazing. She is a wonder. I mean, it's just beyond anything I've ever seen. She makes a new outfit for herself every day. That's it. Hashtag I make a new outfit for myself every day, everyone. I mean, oh my God. Well, who have we got calling here?
Young man.
To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Hello. Welcome to the Epiphany Hotline. Welcome to the Epiphany Hotline. Yes, this is Epiphany. How are you?
Doing good. How are yourself?
I'm wonderful. And your name is?
My name's Young Min.
Your name is Young Min. I know a few young men. How's everything going?
Pretty good. I'm done with work today, so I'm chilling the couch. Just a good time to talk, I guess.
Okay, so first of all, what do you do, if you don't mind my asking, what do you do for a living?
I'm a mechanical engineer.
Wow, so tell me kind of what your day looks like.
My day, it's really busy. And it varies depending on, what's going on, but yeah, usually I wake up, ever since the pandemic started, I've been super into coffee.
Oh, okay.
Like espressos and pour-overs and stuff. So I wake up and make my morning coffee, and then it's, pretty much all work. Sometimes, it ends early, maybe like 5 to 6. If not, it'll go on for a long time since I'm working from home now, and I'm kind of tethered to my all the work stuff is sort of right at my disposal, so it's really easy to get back on. So yeah, it's either that. If not, I'll end and just try to wind down.
Okay, so do you have a girlfriend? Girlfriend?
Do I go what?
Do you have a girlfriend?
Yes, I'm living with her.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, and are you guys getting along?
Yes.
Okay.
We've actually been dating for a while. Close to 4 years. I used to live in San Diego. She's always been in LA. So we met up on the weekends and stuff usually, but last month I moved up since we're working from home anyway for the time being. So we've been living together for close to 2 months now. There's definitely an adjustment period, but I think we got a lot of the big things settled out and good so far.
Okay, so you've been living together for 2 months now in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And you said you're kind of finding your feet with it. Tell me, unpack that a little bit. What were some of the things that were difficult for you? Because a lot of people, I want to just welcome everyone. We're here at the Epiphany Hotline, just And we've got Young Min on the phone right now, and that is Young Min. That is his name. I'm not just saying that I'm talking to Young Min, although I have been known to talk to Young Min from time to time. So Young is describing that he obviously works a whole lot, so I'm taking that into consideration. And then also, he has a girlfriend that he's moved in with now and that he's living with, and it's fairly new, 2 months. I know a couple of people that are in the situation that you're in right now. Oh my God, we want to welcome LaQuaque the Wise to the chat right now, and thank you so much, LaQuaque, for being here with us on the Epiphany Hotline. What we're learning is that he's brand new, moving in with his girlfriend. Like I said, I've got a couple of people that I know that are going through the same thing. It's a little bit of an adjustment period, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so there's a couple factors. I guess just things that come with just living with anyone else, I think. You know, and I've lived with roommates for a long time, ever since college. I don't think I've ever lived by myself ever since I left for college. So, you know, it's things like, you know, like, do we do the dishes on time? Like, you know, how often are we cleaning up?
Right.
Like, you're leaving things out. Like, stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
I think just with anyone, there are going to be disagreements, like your pet peeves, stuff. So stuff like that was one thing. And I think we did pretty good job of communicating about it. So that was good. Yeah, another thing is, I guess there's that, like, if you had your own place, you kind of have, like, if I were to, before I moved, when we, like, date on the weekends, and I head back down for the week, kind of had my own space that you know, you're by yourself, you're kind of, that's the most comfortable you can be, right?
Right, absolutely.
Being by yourself.
Yes.
Or at least I do. I find, you know, personal space and time pretty important.
What sign are you? What sign are you?
That was another adjustment.
What sign are you, Young? What is your birth sign?
November 11th.
Do you know what sign you are? Are you a Virgo, Cancer?
I think it's Scorpio.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that information. So obviously you know what you're doing in the bed. Okay, yes, yes. And the closer you get to certain planets, you know, I mean, those Scorpios, my God, when they're born at that time. Whew. Anyway, all right, so so you're a Scorpio. You have a demanding job that is very time intensive. But it sounds like that's your choice because you don't have to, but you just choose to, correct?
Are you talking about, like, me needing my personal space?
No, okay. You know what? And I should have told you. I jumped on you. I'm sorry. I was recapping.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I was recapping. I was saying that obviously you're a Scorpio. Number one. Number two, you have a very demanding job where you work a lot of hours, but you do choose to work a lot of hours, right? You don't have to. You choose to.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm very, yeah.
You're a little bit of a workaholic? A little bit?
Yes, I would consider so.
Okay, what is your nationality? You're Korean?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the first thing that you mentioned, because the first thing that you mentioned was you chose to talk about how you're working a lot of hours, and it sounds like it's cool, but you are, you know, sometimes working a lot can be kind of tough, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
It does kind of burn you out.
But you're now, you know, me being of the Nubian tribe, And then there are those that I know that are of the Aryan tribe, and then there are those that are of the Asian and so forth, Latino. We do see certain patterns within certain groups, and of course, I know some African Americans who work very, very hard, work like beasts, and I do know a few Jamaicans as well who have 18 jobs each. But the Koreans that I know are some of the hardest working people, and it seems that workaholism runs kind of in that race. Am I wrong?
I would consider so.
Because I hear, being so close with a few of the Korean friends that I have, there's this narrative that I hear over and over again about, most Koreans, their parents or their grandparents were immigrants that came to America and had to work their way up from nobody was there to help them. They had to work their way up from the ground up, and they instilled that work ethic in their children. Is that somewhat what happened to you?
I would agree so, yeah. I think it did have some influence in me in the way I think about work and just, trying to be successful and financially, well off.
So this is a big theme that I see in the minority community, especially because in so many ways, we felt that if we didn't grab it for ourselves, if we didn't get it for ourselves, there was going to be nobody there. Although we had our community, there was a certain almost peer pressure to really do well. And if you don't do well, it's almost as if shame gets introduced into the equation. Tell me about your parents.
What about them?
Anything. Just tell me, first of all, I'd love to know what they do. Are they immigrants? Did they immigrate to the United States? Was that their parents?
Yes. So my parents are immigrants, and I was born in Korea too, so I immigrated with them.
And how old were you?
My dad passed away. My father passed away when I was back in 2012.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that.
Oh, no.
Were you close with your
and
father?
And then my mom is 58. 57 to 58. And then she currently lives with my sister and her husband. And she's currently working as a cashier at a market. So, yeah.
Okay, so how old are you?
I'm 30.
30. Okay, so let's talk about a few things. I'm just kind of trying to piece it all together. How are you with your father's death? Your father's passing?
I wasn't at the time. I wasn't really, heartbroken and couldn't gather myself. I wasn't like that. I would say my relationship with my dad wasn't bad at all. But he wasn't really the type to be super friendly or. He was more of a sort of a muted type. So when he passed away, it was sad for sure. But I think I wasn't devastated. I think my sister took it a little harder.
Well, yeah,
than I did.
Daughters and fathers. But it sounds to me like there was a bit of a disconnect, or the bridge of trust and the bridge of understanding. Of course, I believe that a parent will always have a certain kind of love for their child, but it doesn't sound like your father was so busy. And if I'm wrong, you'll correct me. But it sounds like maybe he was so busy trying to get ahead that he wasn't able to really be present for you when you were younger. Correct?
Yes, I would say so. Yeah.
And what was he doing?
Um, so, so when he skipped around a lot. I think it's just generally hard for immigrants to get adjusted. He tried businesses here and there, and he definitely had at times, financial struggle within the family, which I think kind of reinforces my sort of need to like work and be financially successful a little more, because I know what it kind of feels like without having that stability,
Right.
And just all the chaos that comes from it. But so he did a lot of I think he did like pool cleaning services at times and dabbled into other businesses, but I don't think it was a much of success. And I'm sure he was very stressed about it too. I know being
Right, because the whole
the
thing
head of the
is
family. Yeah.
you come to America to do well, and then if you don't do well, it's almost like it's your fault, and you internalize it. Okay, so how are you now? Because you described, it's interesting. You said at the time when my father passed back in 2012, I was fine with it. And obviously that's because that bridge of trust was never established. But what are you feeling now? Because as you go through different stages in life, there are certain stages where it would be nice to have a father, right? And tell me about, I feel like I'm feeling like you're referencing how you felt when you were younger, because now you're feeling something new and maybe you don't understand it, or maybe you do understand it. Actually, I think you do understand it, but maybe you don't want to deal with it, the feelings that you're having about it. Tell me about those.
Yes, I mean, there are times I think it's more of like, there are times I definitely want to like ask him questions. It may not be something like super serious but I guess just more of like, like, what would you do in this situation, or have you been like I had these 5 choices, or I'm feeling something. I just kind of want to ask him like how he would deal with it, because I think as I grow, just like personality wise, I don't know. It feels like there are a lot of like I see myself as being like a little bit of him, like how I saw him. I kind of see myself becoming maybe in some sort of ways. So in that respect, I just kind of just want to ask questions of these things. So it would have been nice if he was here for that. But
so when you think to yourself, man, I wish I could ask that question of him, how does that make you feel? When I think I know what you're feeling. I'm picking up on it in the field, but I want you to tell me when you have that quick thought goes through your mind, man, I wish he was here so I could talk to him about it. How do you feel when you come to grips with the fact that that's not going to happen?
I mean, I just kind of accept it. I don't think it sparks any crazy emotions. The time when I actually feel really sad that he's not here is when I dream about it. And it's like there are like some days where he kind of comes out, and then I wake up and I get like a feeling of just like weird feelings coming inside. But just those times where I'm just kind of curious of what he thought of of what I wanted to ask him. You know, just kind of think about it, and then.
Okay, I just wanna stop there because I think that you're not quite catching the significance of what you just said. Your father is coming into your dreams. Your father is trying to communicate to you. Have you ever heard of lucid dreaming? Do you know the difference between dreaming and do you know the difference between dreaming and lucid dreaming?
Yeah, lucid dreaming is that where you kind of have control
Right.
of your dream.
So one thing that could be very interesting for you is for you to hold on one moment. I've got so many people calling in.
It's fine.
No. I want to stay with this. I want to stay with this because it's very important. We're going somewhere here. So your father's coming into your dreams because he's got something to tell you. Now, what I am willing to do is I do have a few friends that are just such a wealth of knowledge of books that are hold on one moment that are on lucid dreaming. Because if you can begin to cultivate, lucid dreaming is something that some people do spontaneously, but lucid dreaming is also something that can be cultivated. If you want to get real interesting, there's a phenomenon, there's a whole religion, they're a little strange, but there's a little religion that basically they teach you how to leave your body at night while you're sleeping so that you can begin to explore other realms. And oftentimes people, they have experiences that answer questions for them. But I want to just mention to you that if you begin to cultivate your lucid dreaming, you might be able to actually... one moment. I am so sorry, young. Hold on one moment, okay? Hold on. Hello?
Hello, this is Jefferson. I got your call yesterday, and I just received a message from you leaving me a voicemail.
Yes. Jefferson, can I call you back in about 2 hours?
Yes, no problem.
Okay, I'll give you a call in 2 hours, okay?
Okay, no problem.
Thank you. Okay, so we were talking, and I was saying that I'm gonna find a couple of books on lucid dreaming for you because it would just be a fun thing for you to have a little more control, so that the next time you have that kind of a dream, you can at least turn. And by the way, I've got a girlfriend who actually achieved that. Her grandmother kept coming to her in a dream and wanting to lead her somewhere, but she was petrified. She couldn't move. And then over time, she cultivated her ability to lucid dream, and she was finally able to speak to her. And I didn't particularly care for what she said, but she was able to speak to her. So the thing is that So that's one thing for you to just think about, percolate on. One of the things that I also want you to now. Have you done any therapy? Have you been in therapy with anyone?
No, I haven't.
No.
But I am very interested in starting one very soon.
Okay. So I'm really glad to hear that because have you heard of the pain body before?
No.
Okay, so when trauma happens, we make snap decisions. Just like, take for instance, when you're a little boy, if you put your hand on an open flame, you learned very quickly, I'm not going to do that. But when something burns you emotionally, you might make the decision, I'm not going to trust people anymore. You might make the decision, I'm not going to depend on anyone anymore. I've got to do it for myself. You might make the decision, people aren't very nice. You know what I mean? You might make the decision, I don't trust men because of the relationship you have with your father. Many of these decisions are long forgotten. and you're not going to remember that you made those decisions, but it shows up in your day-to-day actions. You might be someone that's holding yourself back. You might be stuck in a feedback loop with your workaholism because it's all you know, because you learned it through osmosis while your father was alive and then also your mother, and from your culture. Going into therapy begins to kind of uncover and unwind and kind of, I'll never forget listening to one of my favorite people, Arlene Drake, who's a brilliant therapist. I'd highly recommend her. She said, what I do is I'm like an archaeologist. Some of the, we go way down into the ground, and she goes, sometimes it's a little delicate pot, and we gently bring it up and set it down, and we use like a makeup brush to clean it off. She said, but then sometimes we have to just put dynamite down there and blow it out. So, therapists are very apt at being able to locate where the pain is. And that's the next question I want to ask you is, where does it hurt? Inside your body, emotionally, where are you feeling the pain?
I don't know, recently, I guess, ever since like the pandemic started, it's like the isolation at home. I feel like I had a pretty nice routine going with, just keeping my body healthy, exercising, and I think that was kind of sufficient enough to keep me afloat. Just have a optimistic approach to life. Mm-hmm. But yeah, recently I've just been, just not been feeling happy, right? It might be from working too much. I don't know, but I just feel like there's something missing. Like, I'm not sure, like what,
okay,
what my purpose is, like what, yeah.
Okay, well, you don't,
like that.
You don't have to know that now. I mean, on planet Earth, Urantia, we call it Urantia when we're off planet, but then you guys call it Earth here, so we'll call it Earth. The thing is that on Earth, 30 is the new 40, or 40 is the new 30, or 50 is the new 40. The point is, people are blooming later now. So don't worry about you having to have all that stuff worked out. And actually, purpose, identity, those kind of things come out of you getting to know yourself better. You can put on an outer garment, like if I put on a priestly robe, I could convince a lot of people that I'm a priest, but I know down deep inside I'm not a priest. You know what I mean? So this is what I think is going on with you. Okay? I think that you ever heard of the Saturn return?
No.
Okay. So when young men are between the age of 28 and 33, they go through something called a Saturn return. It's almost like a young midlife crisis where you begin to question your reason for living and what am I doing with my life and oh my God, blah, 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 blah. This is a natural thing. Don't sweat it, okay? But use it to get in touch with yourself. This would be a fabulous time for you to go into therapy. I cannot tell you enough how important it is for you to go into therapy because guess what? I've got a little secret for you. You ready?
Yep.
Everything is fine. You're great. You're fine. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with you. You're just fine. What you have to begin to do now, it's just like, when you're 18 years old and you can jump up onto a log and then you can jump down and you can climb a tree and then jump out of the tree and your knees are just fine, right? But at 30, are you going to jump up into a tree and jump down onto the ground, onto the concrete? No. You have to begin to recognize that as you grow, you're going to require different things. You remember when you were maybe 12 or 13 and your parents asked you what you wanted for Christmas and you said, you got ready to say toys and then you thought, no, I don't want toys. I want a blazer. I want clothes. I want cologne. You remember that?
Yeah.
This is the same thing that's happening to you now, except that in our culture and a lot of times people of color are a little behind on things like therapy because our parents had to be working all the time and they were totally dedicated to material things oftentimes. They didn't teach us all of these things. And I just want to quickly, before we go, I've got LaQuay here, and he's saying, my therapist told me it takes 3 generations to work through and to resolve traumas of immigration. Did you know that?
My friend actually told me about that this week when I was talking to him. Yeah, I was really surprised to hear something like that.
So, and you can only imagine. I mean, you're watching the news. You can only imagine then what African American boys and girls are going through with the trauma, right? This is post-traumatic stress, by the way. This is trauma that is locked in your bones. It's locked in your fatty tissues. It's locked in your sinew. It's everywhere. And the only way to get it out, I hate to tell you, the only way to get it out is to go into therapy, confront these terrible scenes that you might have even forgotten, okay? You're going to confront those scenes. You're going to then have the emotions that you weren't able to have because nobody had time for you to have your feelings and emotions when you were little. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
Yes.
No, nobody could really cater to your feelings, and if you were hurt or if you were disappointed or maybe you were even scared because your parents were working so hard to tell them your little feelings that you were having, but guess what? You were experiencing those things for the very first time, and you didn't know how to quantify any of that. Am I wrong?
No, I agree.
So you made decisions. You didn't have anybody there to help you make decisions, to help to quantify what was going on for you. You made decisions, and then now you're living with the consequences of your decisions, and guess what? Those decisions turned into defense mechanisms. They turned into coats of armor. They turned into distractions and ways to keep yourself from ever facing these feelings because we have this weird voice that says that if I have all these feelings, I'm going to melt, I'm going to burst into flames, or I'm going to break into 1,000 pieces and I won't be here anymore. Nothing could be further from the truth. If you begin to confront your fears, confront your trauma, your pain, and heal that pain, then all of a sudden, destiny. All of a sudden, you're clear on what your path is. All of a sudden, people can say things and it doesn't bother you because you know who you are. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I completely like the whole vibe, and I agree that I definitely need to work on getting to know myself a little better and figuring those things out and try to kind of uncover to see what happened.
Never forget that I told you this. Self-esteem comes from esteemable acts. Again, I'm going to say it. Self-esteem comes from esteemable acts. Esteemable acts are making up your bed in the morning. Makes a huge difference. Esteemable acts are random acts of kindness to people on the street during the day. Makes you feel really good. Also, for you right now, you need to have a me moment. You're in your Saturn return. You need to, in my opinion, I think that the greatest esteemable act that you can take for yourself right now is to get into therapy. Again, the name of the therapist that I would suggest is Dr. Arlene Drake. She's all about reparenting and beginning to deal with the inner child, which is what you're dealing with. And can I make one more suggestion?
Yeah.
Okay, in the chat right now, I just put the link to a book going all the way back to the workaholism. Which is a scourge of many immigrant children, immigrant families, minority families. I know that I've seen a lot of blacks that or African Americans who I know that my own parents, 60s, they get the civil rights movement, and then things get unlocked. They get to experience working, in different places and living in different kinds of neighborhoods and all of that stuff, and they become completely obsessed with the glory of being able to have the same things that other people have, and the children get left behind because the focus is on material things. They didn't know. They didn't know. They were doing the best they could. Oftentimes, I hear Arlene say, they did the best they could, it just wasn't good enough. Because when someone is experiencing everything for the first time, it's very, very important that the world that they're sitting inside of, that the experience that they're having, that the smell that they're smelling, the things that they're touching, the things that they're seeing, those things need to be quantified for children so that they don't make decisions for themselves that are based upon trauma. Because they might experience something as trauma that's not even trauma. So, this book that I gave you is a book called The Abundance Book. It's a gift from the universe. I've recommended it to many people. Inside of that book, about the middle of that book, by the way, it's a tiny book. It's $10. It's a tiny book. You can read it in a day. In the middle of it is a 40-day exercise. If you do that exercise, a lot of things are gonna begin to take shape in your life and adjust in your life, and you're gonna go from a lack mentality, which is based on fear, over to an abundance reality, which is so wonderful. I'm in it now. I'm just loving all of these millions that are coming my way right now, and I don't even need to see them today because they're coming. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited, and I live my life that way. You know what I'm saying? I live my life. Have you ever asked yourself, how would I treat that person if I had $1 million in the bank? How would I deal with this situation if I had $1 billion in the bank? We can do those things now. We don't have to wait, but we have to trust ourselves. And the way that we trust ourselves is through building our self-esteem. How do we do that? Through esteemable acts. And esteemable acts for you, my friend, is therapy. Does that help?
I didn't get the last part, but yeah, everything's just like clicking into me. Everything that you said.
Hold on one moment. Hold on.
Call from
Hello? Epiphany Hotline. This is Epiphany. You thought you were speaking to Alan, but this is Epiphany. Hold on, I'm going to get off my last call and then we'll talk. Okay, Reynold?
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Oh, I think that actually the last call hung up. I want to thank Young for calling, and wow. I mean, it's really interesting. I've heard so many stories about immigrant families and how hard the parents had to work to build their life, and many of them have done so well, but the children got left behind. And when the children get left behind, they grow up and they try to forget all that trauma, but that trauma's still there, and then they end up getting stuck, or they end up being depressed, or all that stuff. Anyway, thank you so much, Young, and please feel free to call in anytime. I appreciate you. Mwah. Okay, Reynold, how are you?
Hey, good. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. We're here on the Epiphany Hotline. I just want to mention to everyone that's lurking and those of you that are in the chat, I truly appreciate you being here. We are on the line with Reynold right now. And Reynold, how's life?
How's life?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, life shows up, man. Gotta roll with the punches,
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good overall. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad my family's doing good. So life is great.
Okay, and tell me about your family, a little bit about your family. But before you do that, I want to just thank everyone for being in the chat. I've got Chloe here saying I need to learn more about reparenting. Reparenting is a foundational exercise for everyone. Everyone needs to go through the process of reparenting themselves. Really, it's a little code word for kind of find my own groove. You know how Stella got her groove back? I hear some people say that, finding your own groove through removing the trauma of things. And again, I want to state, sometimes it wasn't even something that should have caused trauma, but it doesn't matter. If it caused trauma, it caused trauma. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. I remember once sitting with a therapist many thousands of years ago, and her telling me, you seem to think that because it only happened once, that it didn't scar your life forever. And I thought to myself, my God, It's true. I've diminished this thing in my mind for so many years, and yet it really hurt me. And so when we have these hurts, when we have these things, please don't diminish them. Those things need to be called out with someone who's a professional who understands how to do that, and it needs to be addressed. So I just wanted to throw that in there. Thank you so much. Yes, Min, thank you so much. Young, thank you so much for calling. And yes, so reparenting, can't recommend it enough. Back to you, Reynold. You were telling us about your family.
Okay, yeah, I didn't get started. My mom and dad are still here. My dad's almost 90. My mom's 85 or so. I have three daughters, 40 years old, 35, and 32 or so. And then I've got 4 grandchildren, so 8, 4, 2, and 1. I've got a couple of brothers and sister. Everybody's still here, and we're basically healthy.
Wonderful.
But I understand about the re-parenting. That's a real good idea because, yes, I'm sure everyone has some kind of trauma that needs to be addressed.
So have you
show up.
have you done any therapy?
Pardon?
Have you done therapy?
I'm hearing you say yes. I think you're asking me.
I said have you done? You have. Okay. So
Yes, I have.
so tell me what's going on in your life right now where you could use some help. Is there anything happening where you're like, what the hell? I don't know what, you know?
The biggest thing for me now is that my parents are old, and it's different now, you know. I guess really, I don't know how to really put it, but let me give you, for instance, I was over at my dad's house recently, and I needed to use one of his tools. So I went over and he and I went to his garage. He used a drill press, and we drill out some holes into this piece of wood. That was it, and we were done. Okay, that's maybe 3 months ago. So my dad calls me yesterday and says, hey, when you were over there with me in the garage, did you take a certain tool? And I said, no, I didn't take a tool. That's stealing. But he kept asking me. Now, I've got to back up a little bit. Now, my brother, though, when my brother was 5, he started stealing. He started going into my grandmother's purse, stealing gum and money. And he just graduated, became a lifetime criminal. So for years, he was a major user. He was an IV, he was slam, not heroin, but hard. Speed, he was injecting himself, with drugs. He was a drug addict. So anyway, my brother was stealing from everyone. Everyone that's like, I wouldn't let anyone meet him because he would, he's going to come to your house, your car, something, and he's going to steal from you, and friends and family. So anyway, he did that with my dad. So for years, my parents would abuse the hell out of us. They would spank all of us. Like my brother would do something, and he'd deny it wasn't me. So everybody line up, drop your drawers, and they wear our ass out until somebody said, yeah, I did it. So usually my sister, my youngest baby brother would say it was them. They'd get a few more swats, and that would be it. But my brother did this for years. He would stand there and watch all of us get nailed, knowing that he was doing this. So fast forward now, when we're grown, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, I asked my dad, I said,
hold on one moment. Reynold, hold on one moment. Sorry. Pluto, get in here. Pluto, come upstairs. I swear to God, Alan's got these pit bulls. Pluto, get up here. I love dogs. Anyway, I'm sorry, Reynold. That was so rude. Go ahead.
No, I'm probably talking too much.
No, you're not talking. No, please keep going. Please keep going. I'm listening.
Anyway, the bottom line is that my dad said he couldn't believe that one child was doing all those things that my brother was doing. Stealing and causing all these issues, So sometimes when I'd be at my dad's house and I go in the kitchen, I could see him kind of looking around the corner like he's watching me. I wouldn't say anything, And like I said, I realized that my dad said, he couldn't believe that one child was stealing all these things. And I realized that I've raised kids and I've worked all of my life. My dad still looks at me maybe and thinks that I was stealing when it was my brother all the time. All these years. And it just
Wow.
came to me, from asking me yesterday. Don't think it's that gosh, it's like. But anyway, I really, in a lot of ways, I tell myself, don't think about it. So that's why I push.
Okay, but you're talking about it now.
Out my head.
You're talking about
What?
it now. You're talking about it now. And how does that make you
Yes,
feel?
I keep missing part of what you're saying. I
No,
think you're saying, how does it make me feel?
Yeah, I said you're talking about it now. And how does that make you feel?
I'm somewhat relieved.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a relief to have someone hear you.
Mm-hmm.
At
But
the
what
same
is-
time, though, what's that?
No, keep going. Keep going.
I feel somewhat relieved that I got it off my chest and been able to tell someone.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I feel that sometimes I relive when I talk about things. I feel like sometimes I relive the negative experience.
Is
that-
there
that-
is there still a charge? So let me ask you this, because then you'll understand this language. Is there still a charge on this whole thing, this dynamic that was going on in your family? Because this is a very deep dynamic. Okay, so I want to go into this a little bit. There was not much trust, okay, going on here. And now you're discovering, oh my God, there was less trust. Even now, my father doesn't fully trust me because of the sins of my brother, right? So this is very traumatic, because not only was there almost a perpetrator in the circle of siblings, there was no safety amongst you siblings, because here's somebody who just kind of sounds like, I don't want to say a bad apple, but sounds like someone who was extremely selfish and was not considerate of his siblings and was more than willing to throw you under the bus. And then parents that weren't dedicated to getting to the bottom of it and figuring out what was going on. So it sounds like there might have been a little neglect going on. Am I wrong?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. So there was abuse, there was physical abuse going on in the home, and then there was verbal abuse going on in the home?
Oh, all the time, 9 years, buddy.
Okay. So
All
you
nine
come
years,
you
all-
come
all the
from,
above.
and was there poverty, or was poverty mixed in there with it?
There wasn't really poverty that way. There wasn't,
Okay.
but the mental.
There was an emotional deficit. There was a yearning for that love and that tenderness that you weren't getting.
Man, that never even came into play, man. The word love and that sort of thing. It was always just survival, really. Just trying to survive the situations day by day, because it was always a bad scene. I don't remember ever, now as an adult, I see it. I'm in my car and I see a child walking across the street with his mother, gripping his mother with love and just squeezing his mother with love. And I think that was never me. I couldn't do that. Even now, I'm a grown man, and I wish I could.
This is the
Just
story.
really hug her.
This is a theme in the Black community. It's a theme, it's a theme, it's a theme, it's a theme, it's a theme. And I'm going to tell you something. It's really like, we're tired of it. All right. So how long were you in therapy?
10 years.
Oh my God. Whoa. Okay. So you were in therapy for 10 years and you still got stuff to unpack. Okay, so the conversation that I'm going to have with you, my friend, is going to happen after the show is over with. I'm going to give you a call because I have something that I think can really help to deal with the trauma. But it's not something that I want to talk about with everybody that's watching right now. So, and anyone can feel free to whisper to me on Twitch. Or we'll figure out a way for you to get a hold of me. But there are ways, I'm hearing you say that you were in therapy. Now, sometimes people have been in therapy for a long time, but they weren't with the right therapist. Was your therapist focused on inner child work?
She did, yes. Yes, she did.
Okay, but was that a primary focus of the therapy that you were in was the inner child work?
No, not necessarily. No,
Okay.
I met the therapist because what's the word? I was how can I say it? Other issues. I had other issues.
You had an emergency situation that you had a situation that needed to be handled now.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So it wasn't really an emergency, but I needed to.
Well, that was just damage on top of damage. Yeah, you had damage on top of damage on top of damage on top of damage because the job your parents did broke down even the circle between you and your siblings. Is so sad. You know, and
it's really heavy, man. It really is. Gosh, I wind up, my brother has now maybe been sober 8, 9, 10 years now.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Totally different person.
Mm-hmm.
Totally different person now.
And he owned up.
So
he owned it. Did he make his amends?
No, I mean he's trying in his own way.
Mm-hmm.
He did, he's trying. Like I said, he's stolen every single nice thing that I've ever had. Just done a number on everything. It's just a long. I can't even go there. But
my God.
Recently, he brought over. It's small, but he brought over a small token because he's stolen so much. A part for how can I say it? A very nice needle from my record player. I think
Oh,
record
that's
player.
nice.
And he brought over very nice, expensive needles, and I felt that was his way of making amends. He didn't actually say anything, but he brought over, that was expensive. He stole thousands of dollars from me. So that, that was just from his heart, I believe, and I try and forgive him.
I'm picking up a lot of pain. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm picking up a lot of pain.
You're right.
And
You're right.
and you and I are going to talk. You and I need to talk because I think I've got something for that, and definitely. So just be expecting a call in about an hour.
Okay, cool.
Okay, and as always, it's a pleasure to talk to you, and please tell your friends about the Epiphany Hotline if they need help. They can call between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock on Thursday nights.
Okay, excellent. I got the phone number. And so the person discusses their issue, and other people can observe and learn from the issue and from your.
Absolutely, it's a family affair. Alan beams me in here from a whole other star system once a week, although I am another aspect of Alan. And I've got all this timeless wisdom to share, and I do channel from different guides that I have for people. So from time to time, but this thing that you're talking about, I have something for you. So I'll be calling you, and I want to thank you for opening up your heart, for being so transparent. You're such a beautiful being, and I also want to say that to Young as well. These are beautiful beings, and we all need a step up, a hand up sometimes. None of us has all the answers, and that's what we're all here for. We're all really just reflections of each other. So, Reynolds, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I look forward to talking with you later.
Yes, I'll be calling you later.
Everyone else that's here.
Okay.
On the line also.
Okay, Reynolds, thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Have a good night.
All right,
Talk to you later.
Okay, bye. This is a serious scourge in the black community, okay? It took so many years for me to look at certain things as abuse because I just couldn't bring myself to, but it is. And until you begin to label things properly and begin to reparent yourself, to let that little inner child know that everything is going to be all right, that child is out there in the cold and doesn't have anybody, and sometimes for decades. So I can't encourage you enough to get into the inner child work. It's exciting. It's wonderful. There's a book. I'm actually going to pull it up right now and put it in the chat. And I love this book because it was written by the woman that I'm talking about right now, Dr. Arlene Drake. And what's exciting is that the book is called Carefrontation. And let's see here, I'm going to just... Yeah, there it is. Carefrontation, Breaking Free from Childhood Trauma by Dr. Arlene Drake. I'm going to just pop this in here. How? I'm becoming so good on these computers, but there's such old technology. My God. Let's see here. Put this in the chat. All right. Carefrontation. All right. By Dr. Arlene Drake. This is one of the things she builds you up to the place where you do what's called a carefrontation with your parents, where it's a confrontation, but where you verbalize. I'm not going to even just read the book. It's amazing. And, there's also another book by Dr. John Bradshaw. I'm going to go ahead and look at it and pull it up in the chat, put it in the chat. These are very important books, ladies and gentlemen, because healing the shame that binds. Oh. Why do people set off fireworks? And this is by Dr. John Bradshaw. Unbelievable book. Hold on for a moment. I'm just getting this here. Boink. And, all right. Good to go. Last one, ladies and gentlemen. This is actually a classic book. Shame, the number one scourge in minority communities. Shame. It's a killer. It's a killer. And the only way out of it is to work with someone who can help you identify where those moments of shame are. Let's see who's calling in. And who are we talking to? Welcome to the Epiphany Hotline.
Hi, Epiphany Hotline. This is Ali Babuche.
Oh my God, one of my favorite people. Ali, how are you?
ABC Johnson, the one and only.
Yes.
I'm all right. I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm good. I'm preparing to do something intense that requires me to change the way I eat. So I'm like, ooh, girl, wait a minute. I can't have my 15 minutes.
Well, it's temporary, right?
Ooh. What's that?
It's temporary.
It's temporary, and it's a process. Like I think about the things in my life as I mature. Mm-hmm. There's just certain things I don't do anymore.
Right.
Or things I don't do as much. Let's put it that way. You know what I'm saying?
And before we continue, just for a moment, Ali, we've got Chloe in the chat, Chloe LaFond, saying, Ali Babuche, I love you.
Hey, LaFondra. See, everybody gets a nickname from me. Chloe don't even know that she's LaFondra. See?
I love it. Ali, where does it hurt?
Ooh, wow.
And you remember that question?
I know.
Yeah. That's the question I'm asking.
Sales.
Yes.
Rufus
Yes.
Sales. Where does it hurt?
Yes.
I want to say it hurts in the gut, but like the gut of the ancestral gut, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It hurts like in terms of when I think about, wow, man, I gotta sit down. See, I'm over here pacing. Let me go sit down when you start ask me a question like that. Man, I think for me, like, whoo, wow. All right, let me just sit down for a minute and listen and just feel. Yeah, I think, we get impatient, or I get impatient, and I think about the ancestors who, my grandfather bringing his entire family up from Mississippi to Michigan so that they don't get lynched. And, you know, getting a loan from a Jewish man, a $10,000 loan, and like do something so he can. He's a master carpenter and build a house from the ground, but he can't get into any of the guilds because they're all racist, right? So in the north, and so he was a mason and everything, but it didn't matter. He wasn't a mason. There ain't no black mason enough for them.
Right.
And I think like how gave him a 10,000.
Okay, you're breaking up a little.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me make myself more the signal better. Yeah, that he gave him a $10,000 loan so that he could
Get on his feet.
And have it get on his feet, create a van, do a house painting business, which basically was a carpentry business. And he was doing all the carpentry stuff, but not getting paid as a carpenter, even though he could do it, even though he was a master carpenter. And I just think about these sacrifices that he made, and my father could do the things that he did, and the sacrifices my father made, so I could do what I do. And so, what I find is like, they talk about Barack Obama being an incrementalist. And what I find is like, there's incrementalism and it's by momentum.
We're breaking up again. I'm sorry. You said momentum and then we lost you.
I think I'm on it. Whoops. Are you there?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so what I was going to say was like,
hello?
okay, hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, yes. All right about that, y'all. I was putting the headphones away. They were natural. Yeah, the incrementalism is punctuated by these momentous things that civil rights movement in the 60s and then last year,
Right, yeah.
And monumentalism is real. And I think that there is an interplay between the two, And so when I get a little bit down or tired and the hurt is too much, I remember that it's okay. When we are tired, we learn to rest, not to quit.
Yes.
And so, so I'm just like, okay, I can rest, and then I can get up, and then I can, continue today. This and our ancestors are guiding us. They have done this before. They did their part, and now we're doing ours. So I start to really feel into that,
I want to talk about the trauma because I'm starting to hear a lot of African American men now talking about the trauma and wanting to get the trauma healed. One of the things that's exciting about you is that you are a therapist, and I can talk to you about things that are very deep. And where do you feel, and I'm picking your brain now because where do you feel we are as a race? Now, your parents were very, very active in the civil rights movement there in New York City. And we're actually a part of the inner sanctum of many of the great civil rights leaders, correct?
Yep. Malcolm, and my parents are very good friends with Malcolm. My mother was best friends with Betty Shabazz. So, I think, it's interesting because trauma, I remember there's this family, this woman, she was like the head of like CBS for a while, the sister. And it comes from this amazing family. She's got like her mother's Jamaican, her father's black, her mother's Jamaican Chinese, right? So she had like this Chinese grandfather because a lot of the Hakka people from China came to Jamaica and all across the West Indies, and then, so anyways, and she told this amazing story. I saw her, she did this documentary about like her family, her Black Jamaican family going to China to find their Chinese family, right? And one of the things that she said was she was able to connect with the ancientness of this culture, and it awakened her to the ancientness of her African culture. And she said that, when you look at the Middle Passage, you look at enslavement, colonialism, and you look at Jim Crow and the new Jim Crow and all that. She said this is a blip in the history, a blip.
Yes.
In the history of the greatness of Africans, right? Mm-hmm. And yet we have to face the blip. We have to face what these traumas have done to us. We have been traumatized. We've been gaslighted. Our identities have been traumatized. Our experiences have been traumatized. And it's almost like you can't to survey the lay of the land and to capture a picture of how extensive the trauma is. You have to take your time, and you have to rest, and you have to integrate. So a lot of trauma is about going, damn, that shit right there. 2 years later, you'd be like, oh my God, that happened,
Yeah.
And so I think there's something about that where you just, it's processing.
Yes.
And we know from trauma, that one of the things, this is why 12-step and, FA, all these different groups where people get together, ceremonies where people sit in ceremony with ayahuasca and other entheogens, when we sit and process things together as a group.
Yes.
One of the things that happens is we now know that the way the trauma sits in the amygdala in the brain, when my clients have trauma, I open up I open up a brain map. I have a 3D thing of the skull, and I just bring it with me, and I go, let's look at the brain, and I show them where the amygdala is. I'm like, okay, you see everything we're talking about, this whole conversation we're having right now, this is going to go into the amygdala short-term memory. You'll be able to recall it real quickly, and then you're going to go to sleep, and it'll all get processed as information and go into the hippocampus, and it'll be stored there. And it's kind of like when it's in the amygdala, it kind of owns you because it's so immediate. But when it's in the hippocampus, it's like you own it because it's, I hate to use the word own, but you.
I can't hear the word hippocampus either. It just reminds me of that awful trial. Anyway.
I know it has a great. It does. It's kind of a kid thing, like a hippocampus. A hippo is a camp, right? I love it.
Yeah. And how's little Ollie doing?
We accomplished. So and so what happens is when we're traumatized, that shit never leaves the amygdala. It's always immediate. It's always there. We always have to hold on to it. We always have to remember it. We always have to be on guard. And it's that shit is exhausting. It's a traumatic experience. And you always have to be on guard for that shit. It's always in your mind immediately. It's always in your short-term memory. It's gonna rule you down. So when we sit in circles and we talk about shit and how it's affecting us, and we hear other people look at us with that look of knowing and understanding, and holding the space for us and looking at us and saying, you're not crazy. This is real. This happened to you.
Yes.
Nobody's gaslighting you. Nobody's, traumatizing you on top of the trauma. Your experience finally gets to be real, and you finally can process it. It can finally become something that doesn't own you, that it's something it's your memory instead of the memory being, having control over you. And then when you have that happen, you have a very different ability. You have a very different awareness. It's a very different way to understand the traumatic experience.
But I want to jump in really quick and say that I have never, ever heard anyone break down one word, the whole last paragraph that you just spat out. That's healing.
Yeah.
That's what healing looks like. That's what healing looks like. Yeah.
That's why we need
Yeah.
community.
Yeah. Just knowing that somebody else has been through it and maybe having an accountability buddy or maybe having somebody near that can help to Sherpa you through to the next stage of your life, because that's what community does. That's what community is all about. That's what cobblers are about, by the way. This is a community. This is a family. We support each other. We love each other. Despite our differences, despite our inconsistencies, we support and we love each other. I'm starting to feel like the black community in America might be getting there. We might be starting to understand that it's important that we stick together on, you know, and I believe that the human race sticks together. I don't, you know, I'm not all off into, you know, this one go there, that.
But, you know,
but yeah.
But there's interesting you say that, because the black community, you know, with segregation, they were forcing us to be together, not realizing the incredible strength that we had like that. But they were forcing us to be together and restricting our ability to have businesses. Basically, the only businesses you were allowed to have was religion, right? You know, you know, every time. I mean, historically, this is not just, you know, Tulsa. There's so many, not just Greenville. You know, there's so many situations where we have developed our own businesses, literally building bootstraps and pulling ourselves up by them, right? Like, there's so many situations like that. And you have these angry mobs of white supremacists come in and just destroy it out of envy, because they're like, how can these people who were treating so horribly, how can they do this?
Tulsa.
You know? Yeah, I mean, you know, this is Tulsa. They went and got a bomber and flew over and bombed this, you know. I mean, we now know about this, but when I used to tell people about this, they would tell me I was crazy. Didn't happen. No way. Not possible. You know.
Yeah, but now that it's been on TV all the time, it's like everybody knows, yeah.
Right, and this year marks 100 years, so it's going to be very interesting to see that. You know, I also think about how, like, what happens to us as a people when we're not allowed to get together and talk about our pain, you know, and not just our pain, but our joy. You know, not just, you know, our incredible resiliency, our incredible ingenuity, not from this magical Negro bullshit, like, you know, but from the perspective of us being human beings who are survivors.
Yes.
And, you know, like, not, you know, not...
And thrivers, and thrivers.
And thrivers, right?
Yes.
And like, and that's okay to do all that. It's okay to do both. It's okay to fail. It's okay to succeed. It's okay to do all that stuff and be a human being. And, you know, that's okay. So I think, you know, one of the lessons that we've learned is, like, we now know that whenever they tell us how we are allowed to be in community, which is segregation,
right.
They limit our ability to grow violently, right? And so we have to be the ones to define what our community means and what it means to, you know, let me tell you something. My sister, she works at a private school and in the Bay Area, and she's their diversity kind of like liaison coordinator or whatever for the school, in addition to other responsibilities. And it's an international school with a lot of French people, Chinese, German, okay, whatever. The French people are not excited about the affinity groups that she's fostering. I mean, I'm talking like get up in her face and scream and yell at her in meetings and shit. And they're all white, and they all think that there's going to be like this incredible segregation if we have if you have an affinity group for black kids or an affinity group for LGBTQ, you know. And she's like, look, man, I have 10-year-olds who want to suicide because they don't have space to go talk to anybody. And so,
terrible.
So what I'm seeing now is like, we cannot allow somebody else to define for us how we gather. We can't allow somebody else, because that they will segregate us. And then they'll tell us we can't gather because it's segregation.
Right.
You know, they'll do whatever they can do. We can't let people who don't understand our experiences and the marginalization that we're having, we cannot let people like that define for us how we come together. And so I was listening to a KPFK program, and it was like a queer people of color consortium, and they were saying we need to become comfortable with not knowing what equality looks like. We don't know what it looks like. All the models of equality, of equity, they're all based on somebody else's hegemonic, patriarchal, white supremacist ideal.
But I did see something very unique. I happened to take a peek on my Ubu monitor up in my space deck, and I noticed that your President Biden was flanked by 2 women. I had never seen that before.
He was what?
Flanked by 2 women.
Right.
So progress is being made. You know, Ali, I have to say, you know, I've been really talking a lot about Arlene Drake in this
one of the most amazing human beings on planet Earth.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, truly, real deal.
Because it's been very interesting. We had our first caller, a young man by the name of Young Min. And he, and not that I'm laughing at his name, but it was funny for me to say a young man named Young Min.
Young Min, right.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's just kind of funny. The female flanking, we've got Chloe LaFond in the chat. Thank you so much for being here this whole time, Chloe. We love you. And she's saying she has Haitian Chinese cousins, and she'd love to read what Ali Babuche is talking about.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what, I'm going to go find this documentary because there's a whole Haitian thing, too. Oh, my gosh, I got to get this information then. Yes. It's because this family, by the way, they own the Sparks, the LA Sparks. They own the Africana. There's an Africana channel. They own it's like a network, Africana network. And he would want to meet Chloe.
Well, everyone wants to meet Chloe. I said everyone wants to meet Chloe. They just don't know it.
Chloe, right? Exactly.
So, Ollie, I was just getting ready to say, because we are going to start wrapping up here, we're about a half an hour over what we normally do, which is just fine, because this has been an incredible day. We started with Young Min, and then we went on to Reynolds, and then now we're talking to you. But the theme of the day has been the trauma that comes in from immigrant parents that are struggling, trying to get, Young Min is Korean, and then Reynolds is black, and Reynolds talked about how just the terrible physical abuse, very deep physical abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, to the point where the circle of trust was broken even with his siblings at a very young age. Trauma. And this is what coronavirus, I believe, has given Earth, Urantia, whatever you want to call it, an opportunity to look at how do I feel inside and what the hell is going on this planet. And now I'm seeing it come full circle. I'm hearing, like I said, black men talking about pain bodies and healing trauma. I'm hearing about all kinds of things. You know, you go on this thing that they call Clubhouse or whatever, and you're hearing people talk about all kinds of things. So this is a really, really amazing time. I'm sure it's an incredible time to be a therapist.
It is. I mean, totally. What we're finding is the whole way that we do therapy is because our environment is changing. Especially, I think this past year, the virtual environment became so much more important because so many of our social interactions were happening virtually. So, like this right here. So, there's a whole new way of kind of looking at everything. You know, Clubhouse is a huge influencer. I think it's going to end up being more influential than Facebook at a certain point. I think people are starting to see how Facebook, the algorithms are basically designed. I remember you telling me to get off of Facebook, and it took me until January 6th to be like, oh my gosh, even though I'm not contributing to the toxicity of this, just being here is legitimating this toxic environment. I had to leave,
Yeah.
So Clubhouse is definitely a place where, there's something very different happening. It's not monetized and algorithmized, if I may make up a word. With
Algorithmized.
the same kind of thing that Facebook is. Facebook just didn't have. There was no value system guiding Facebook. This is somebody who created this so he could talk about college co-eds,
right,
and rate them. That's what this whole thing came about. You remember, Alan, remember we were talking about how the police in this country were designed and developed and weaponized to chase and trap and hunt down Africans who were escaping enslavement, right? And that how the EMS, the emergency medical services and ambulances and all that were created by black people during the Jim Crow South. When lynchings and attacks were happening, somebody would send a signal or a flare, or they would if they had a telephone, they might do something like a telegram or whatever, but they would have people like 5 or 10 men in a town in a car, and these brothers would come out in the car under the aegis of, we're here to, somebody was hurt, we're here to help them. But they were also providing security, to the attacked family, or the attacked man or woman or child. And they were also then tending to the person's needs medically. And so, it's like, white supremacy creates police, and black Americans create, ambulances and EMTs and emergency medical services. You know what I'm saying?
That is so interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, so I have to say, we have to remember to give ourselves credit. We don't even know what look, you think about the toxicity of what Facebook and all these algorithms are, right? But you think about the tonic power of resilience and response of black people.
Yes.
What we are doing. We don't even know the effect of what we're creating right now.
That's right.
In response to all this. We can take the most toxic thing and we can face it and find a way to make it medicine and put it into a good proportionate size and turn it into medicine. So, we're really doing something. We don't even know what we're doing right now. We don't even know the effects of our response to all this is.
Well, some of us do.
Yeah.
And I just want to, we're going to have to end the call, but I want to just let everyone know that that this amazing man that is on the phone with me right now would make anyone an incredible therapist. And I don't want to, I don't want to oversell, but I would say I would recommend him or Arlene. I would definitely recommend him or Arlene. So
Arlene is Arlene is what it's all about.
Yeah.
All about.
Yeah. But you will get a very good sense of who she is when you go on, you click that link and you buy her book, Carefrontation. Also, again, in the chat, if you scroll up, is the John Bradshaw classic, Healing the Shame That Binds You. And then I also threw in, just for good measure, for those of you who are in a lack consciousness, I did go ahead and put The Abundance Book by Randolph Price, which if you just do that 40-day abundance, your whole life is gonna change. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna bring that to the Alan Show. I'm gonna suggest to Alan that he begin to work with everyone in the chat, and that he begin to do the 40-day abundance plan, because it will change your life. Literally, it's a miracle. Ollie, I could talk to you all night long because you
know
just,
we can.
and we have, but I've got to go. I love you
right.
so much. Thank you for calling in and for dropping all your pearls of wisdom and for your vulnerability, of course. And you are amazing. And again, I cannot recommend this wonderful being, this light worker, enough as a therapist. If any of you are looking, therapy, ladies and gentlemen, it's so important in this time. Right now, take advantage of the fact that everything's been thrown off. Everyone lost their footing. Everyone's out in the cold. Everybody doesn't know what to do. Take advantage of this time and get yourself together emotionally. Get yourself together spiritually. It is so important. And also remember that if you experienced even one trauma, if you experienced even one beating, if you experienced even one tongue lashing, you have trauma. How do you heal the trauma? You can heal it through therapy. It's one of the best ways to heal it.
Community.
And you
therapy
can,
is community. The best therapy is community.
Absolutely, especially group therapy, which you know all about. So from the Alan Show, I've got to get into my little tube and zoom back through a few light years. So I'm going to get out of here. Alan will not be here tomorrow. Alan will be leaving town. He's got some things he's doing, and he deserves to. So
he's going to the dimensional galaxy trip.
Yes, Alan's going to a place far, far away, but he will be back on Monday. And Monday, of course, is Music Monday. Ansi will be here, and the EP is really starting to heat up. So I encourage you to come and check that whole process out. I mean, literally, unbelievable information is being captured right here on the stream for your for not only your entertainment but for also your education. So definitely tune in on Monday. So from me, Epiphany, and then Ollie, I'm sure you're going to want to let everybody know that you love them.
I love y'all so much. Remember your greatness and that you are the expert of your life.
Yes.
You might need a little help in reminding you of that. And the people who see you and love you are there to help you, and you're there to help them. We're all diamonds reflecting each other.
I want to thank Chloe LaFond for making the chat so fun. I mean, you know, it's interesting. We didn't have that many people in chat today, but having Chloe is like having 10 people, period.
Right.
And then Ollie is like 11 people. So we had, 21 people in the chat today?
Right.
Thank you, everyone. I want to also thank LaQuay for everything he does for the show. And I want to wish all of you a very, very happy, what do you call it, weekend? Yeah, that's what you call it. Have a happy weekend. Do something nice for yourself. Take a bubble bath. I don't know. Have sex. Do something good. You know what I'm saying? And we will see you on Monday. From all of us here at The Alan Show, thank you. And we'll talk to you soon. Good night.